So, this is going to be a video essay. I will hope it's not going to turn into a rant rave. I've actually already done like a bunch of takes where it totally did, so I'm going to try and stay on the straight and narrow. I have beautiful notes. Let's do this thing. This is about quote feminism, unquote, in stories. And I call it quote feminism because it is not real feminism. It is not actually helping women, and it is not actually like adding to equality between the sexes. No. And I chose several different stories where this is present. So let's talk about them and what points about anti-feminism they bring up. First and foremost, Maleficent. Oh my, what a train wreck. I have not actually seen Maleficent, I confess, but my brother told me about it in detail, and I've watched a bunch of reviews, and what a mess. What a mess. Let's talk about why it's bad for feminism. So the original Sleeping Beauty had 4 amazing female characters. One was Maleficent herself, who had a giant castle with an army of goblins and all the powers of hell at her disposal and could turn into a dragon. And was a super boss lady, and I remember when I was like 5 years old, I thought she was awesome. Like I was playing with some other kids, and we were playing some like fantasy game, and I was like, I want to be Maleficent, because this is the kind of person I was, okay? Strong female role models, ding. Anyway, she's a boss. And you have Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, who are just amazing. Not only are they like adorable and hilarious characters with personalities, they're also 3 older, non-sexualized women. Merryweather's even a little chubby, and they totally save the day. 100%. Let me explain. If you haven't seen the movie in a while, rewatch it. Maleficent originally curses Aurora to die, and Merryweather's like, whoa, stop, I still have a blessing to like give, like, oh, it's not really death, it's sleep. So first and foremost, she literally saves the day. Like, done. Then they put the entire kingdom to sleep so there's no panic. Then they save the prince from his prison cell. They turn the arrows from the goblin army into flowers. They turn the bird into stone. They give Philip amazing, miraculous sword and shield to fight Maleficent, and then when he's like on the ground, he just throws his sword. They enchant it so it will fly straight and true and stab into her. They literally do everything. They save the day, okay? Everyone's like, oh, Prince Philip. No, I mean, he's a great prince. I love him too. But these ladies get things done. But, and here's my first number 1 thing, problem with feminism, is in order to prop up your inability to write good stories, you have to memory hole all of that stuff, pretend it never happened, so that you can pretend like you are the first person to ever write like a feminist story in existence. So now we have Maleficent, which is like super woke because we have a super sexy like Maleficent lady, and there's a metaphorical rape scene, and all men are either like idiots or like evil. I don't know, maybe her crows, okay, but anyway, idiot prince, evil king, and then she has like a platonic love with like another female character, and it's like pure love because heterosexual love doesn't break curses. And we have to like take those like older 3 non-sexualized ladies and like turn them into idiots because feminism, ding. How disgusting. How revolting in every single way. I mean, there's a million problems that I just mentioned, but my main problem is the fact that you didn't see the amazing awesomeness of these 4 ladies in the original, and you felt the need to like fix it. It wasn't broken, okay? And again, as I said before, propping up the inability to write, same thing happens with Star Wars, the new Star Wars trilogy, which I do not accept as canon. You could acknowledge characters like, well, actually, that's a whole other rant, maybe, but basically, anytime you criticize the new Star Wars, like, for example, I think Rey's kind of a boring character, or like, Captain Phasma doesn't do much, they're like, well, you just hate women, Star Wars fans are sexist and they hate women, and Captain Phasma is... The actress of her actually says she's the first ever female Star Wars villain, and I was like, let me introduce you to Asajj Ventress. She's awesome and has a character arc and doesn't die immediately. She also doesn't betray the ship by, like, entering in the codes like Captain Phasma does in the first movie. But again, if you ever criticize, like, Rey, people are like, oh, like, Star Wars fans are so hateful. I'm like, no, Star Wars fans love, like, Mara Jade and Ahsoka Tano. I was talking to a teenage boy back when Rebels was still on, and I was, like, asking him if he'd seen the most recent episode. He was like, Ahsoka's in it. I love Ahsoka. Because everyone loves Ahsoka. She's such a good character. She is such a good character. And Star Wars fans love her so much that they, and I, who am a Star Wars fan, were willing to overlook the totally ridiculous, out-of-the-blue friggin' time travel plot thing in Rebels because it, like, helped Ahsoka. We're like, this is fine, because Ahsoka's great, yay. Yeah, we love her. Don't you dare tell us that we don't love female characters or female Jedi or female anyone in Star Wars, because we do. You're just a bad writer who's bad at writing female characters. So that's my first point, is stop memory holding good, strong female characters as a crutch for your bad writing. Point 2. Let's talk about Houdini and Doyle. And the second point is stop memory holding real life women in order to seem, like, woke and relevant. So, Houdini and Doyle was a little watched show about Harry Houdini and Arthur Conan Doyle solving mysteries, and I was so excited for this premise. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this before or after my review of Witch of Lime Street, but long story short, the real life Houdini and Doyle, Houdini was super against spiritualism and mediums. He thought they were frauds, and Doyle was, like, in love with it and, like, preached, like, the gospel of spiritualism. Like, okay? So basically what you have is an X-Files setup where Houdini is Scully and Doyle is Mulder, and I was all in. This sounds great. The show had problems, but one of my biggest problems with it was they added this female policeman. And she's not the worst female character ever, but she was annoying. And she was annoying because it was that whole, like, I have to prove myself, like, kind of thing. Where, like, oh, she's a female policeman back in the day. Oh, she has to prove herself. There's a scene where she literally helps Houdini escape from a thing that he couldn't escape from, which is just pandering. I'll talk more about pandering at the end of the video. But it's just very annoying. It was just very, like, you didn't have to shoot her. I would have been fine if they're like, if they just made up, they're like, oh, this is a female cop, and she just happens to be there because we need a female character. Fine. But you had to have a constant, like, it's so hard being a woman. It's so hard being a woman. Meanwhile, in real life, I come to find out, Houdini had an actual female undercover investigator. Her name was Rose something. I don't know. I'll put it in the description. She was a real undercover female investigator before she ever met Houdini, but then she met him, and she would go undercover to infiltrate spiritualist rings because a bunch of them were defrauding people and or, like, feeling up, like, female members. And that was, like, their thing. They worked together. This is a real person. Why wasn't she in the television show? Like, if you needed a female cop, why not make her that, like, role? Because then you would have to acknowledge that any woman before the 1960s had ever done anything. And we can't acknowledge that because then we can't feel woke and feminist. It's the same thing with, like, stories set in, like, medieval times where they're like, oh, this strong female character is reading. How amazing. And I'm like, you know, more women actually bought books in the Middle Ages than men. It was considered a girly thing to do. Also, you had, like, amazing queens and amazing abbesses and amazing saints, like, doing all kinds of things. Female queens, saints, and abbesses doing amazing things. Because basically in the Middle Ages, it wasn't a matter of, like there were restrictions, but they were more like social restrictions where it's like, if you're born into this, like, just do it. Everyone has to, like, work super hard to, like, make everything run. And yeah, there were, like, different sex roles from the ones we have now, but women had it way better in the Middle Ages than they did, like, in the Enlightenment, and especially in, like, puritanical America. But whatever, I mean, we can't acknowledge that women ever had any kind of agency because then we couldn't feel like now we're, like, doing a good job. It's gross, and I do not like that attitude. Please don't memory hole real women to make yourselves feel cooler and more progressive. Don't do it. Do not. Part 3 is when people feel the need to make men idiots. Male characters idiots. the biggest and most egregious example of this is Girl Ghostbusters, which I was really excited for. I rather like gender-swapped stories. I myself am writing a gender-swapped story where there's 2 male characters and I flip them into be females. But I did it because I thought it would be cool, and like more on that later someday. I'm into that. I enjoy that kind of story, but I don't enjoy when it's so pandering. Like, okay, so like Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters. This is a little side story from my thing about making men idiots. The original Ghostbusters is about a bunch of they're not con men, but they kind of are. Like, they're very like greedy. And especially Bill Murray's character, it's great. And they're kind of just like flying by the seat of their pants, and they're doing it for money. Slash like science, maybe. Okay? And it's funny. It's like a well-scripted, tight little script. And then you have Girl Ghostbusters, where what I'm talking about is Ghostbusters 2016, but I call it Girl Ghostbusters because, come on, that's what it is. Where they didn't remember how to write comedy and let the actors ad-lib, and it was really awkward. And you have this, like, hit you over the head, super preachy message about, like, people don't listen to women in academia. And it's so bad. And I was like, really? Please don't do this to me. Like, I feel as if you think I'm an idiot. No. Like, do not do that. Get that out of my Ghostbusters. Why can't these be a bunch of greedy ladies running a company? Oh, because women can't run companies? Feminism! I don't know. Anyway. But they had to make this message about, like, oh, listening to women. But in order to do that, you have to denigrate men. So, and that's my problem. That's my, like, third point, is the idea that in order to have a feminist story, you must denigrate men. The character, I get all the Chris's confused. Chris Hemsworth? Yes. He plays the secretary. And they make him, like, so stupid. Like, insanely stupid. And I'm like, is that how you saw the secretary in the original Ghostbusters? Like, how dare you? How dare you? Like, you just leave her alone. But no, like, this idea that if we're going to have a male character, like, he has to be way dumber than all the female characters. He can't be, like, a normal person with, like, any kind of personality that's not so... His intelligence level is equal to that of Patrick Star from SpongeBob, okay? If you haven't seen the movie. That's literally, like, this is the level of intelligence. And I was like, why? Like, because you feel you need to get back at men? Because, oh, like, there's so many, like bimbo secretary characters, except not in Ghostbusters. But yeah, we're going to get back at them by having a male version. And I'm like, why? Why are you so angry? Like, go to your therapist. Don't make a movie about this, okay? I can't think of any, like, off the top of my head, but there are many movies that, but yeah, the same thing with Houdini and Doyle, where she has to, like, be better at escaping than him, or, like, this woman has to be better than this and that, and I'm like, you know, you can be, like, a strong and important and interesting person without being good at everything, and without being better at things than other people. Like, if you think that you have to be better at things than other people in order to be as good as them, you have some issues that, again, please take those to someone not a Hollywood producer, okay? Like, you got some issues, my friend. But yeah, you don't have to denigrate men to be a strong woman. In fact, I would say strong women should protect men and keep them safe. And yeah, I could probably do an entire video about that, but I won't. But yeah, no, being a strong woman is not about making men feel bad or stupid or seeing them as bad or stupid. It's not. My fourth point, and this one is going to be a little funky, pandering, I guess is what I will call it. Let's talk about, and I've used that term throughout the thing, I don't like being pandered to. I don't like being told, like, you should like this because you're a woman. You should like this because it's got strong female characters. This is a badass woman. You should like her. Captain Marvel. If you've read my blog, you know I do not like Captain Marvel. I've never read the comics. This is just about the movie, so just about the movie. I felt she was a rather flat character, very shallow. Not a fan. There's also, this is like this is a 0.4.5. This is, yeah, 4.5. There's also a little bit of double standard with how we view male characters and women characters. So let me just get that out of the way, and then I'll talk about pandering. Picture Captain Marvel as a man. Picture all the things that she does. Picture her cocky attitude. Picture her, like, stealing a dude's bike. In one edit, apparently that dude, like, told her to smile or something, and then, like, she, like, beat him up. Picture a man doing that. Picture her and her man pilot friend saying that they had to work with Marvel because it was the only way to do anything that mattered. Because apparently flying planes, fast planes, and being cool matters, but, like, being a mechanic on the planes, or being a surgeon or a medic, or being a member of the Quartermaster Corps and, like, giving supplies to the entire military, none of that matters. Only flying fast planes. That's the only way to do anything that matters. What a gross flyboy. Like, how disgusting. What a... Like, I don't use bad language, but yeah, like, what a jerk, okay? But because she's a woman, we're told that that's great. What a wonderful, like, personality. We should just love it. Rah, rah, her. No. What a double standard. And there's a huge double standard where, like, women can be complete, like, horrible people. And if they were a man, we'd call them on it. But we just don't because, like, they're women. And I'm like, oopsie, oopsie. So that's 4.5. Let's get back to 4. Maybe that was, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to point 4. Pandering. So Captain Marvel is, it's obviously a power fantasy, okay? Which is fine. But people will often tell you that if you point this out, that you have a double standard if you don't like her because there's tons of, like, male superheroes that are power fantasies, which is absolutely true. Male superhero power fantasies usually focus on being a big, strong, powerful hero and helping people and saving people. Captain Marvel doesn't really care about any of that, to be honest. Like, in Avengers, she's like, I'm too busy to, like, help you by. And I think they also throw in a line about that in Spider-Man Homecoming or Far From Home. Like, she's too busy to help. I cannot imagine Superman or Batman being like, I'm too busy to save this person. That is not their style. Also, Captain Marvel seems more interested in, like, punching people and, like, looking cool doing it than actually, like, saving people. She, like, happens to save the Earth, but, like, I feel it was kind of an afterthought. I guess she kind of happens to, like, save the Skrull, but, yeah, like, she's not heroic. That's why I think she's not heroic. Talk about double standards. But, back to the power fantasy thing. Let's look at Superman. Because he's very similar to Captain Marvel. Like, they both have, like, insane amounts of power. I will point out, Captain Marvel has no weaknesses. Superman is weak to kryptonite and feels the need to, like, hold back because he could literally kill anybody by accident if he, like, slapped him too hard. But they're very similar. Who is he a power fantasy for? Well, a million people on the internet have already written about how 2 Jewish men in the, I want to say 30s, I could be wrong, 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever, wrote Superman. Think about him as a power fantasy. He is a person, an alien, from another place that was destroyed and you can't go back to it. You might even say he's diasporic in America, and he is the most American hero who is beloved by all and saves all and is a super good person, a Superman. I wonder why that might be the power fantasy for 2 Jewish men in, like, the 1930s. Like, that's a great power fantasy. You're like, thank you, yes. Like, this is beautiful, and I approve 5,000%. He is such a good person and a hero. That's something to idolize and daydream about being. Like, yeah. What is Captain Marvel a power fantasy of? Well, she's a power fantasy of women who, like, whose fathers never hugged them. Like, I don't know. It's so bad. Again, it's like we have all these images of, like, oh, you can't drive a fast race car. Oh, like, the man is keeping you down. So now you're gonna, like, kick butt and take names. People tell you you're too emotional even though you have no emotions. You're gonna steal a guy's bike because he told you to smile. Like, it's such a gross power fantasy. I'm sorry. Like, again, I'm like, see a therapist. Like, I get that your dad never hugged you, but you can go hug yourself on your break, okay? Yeah, it's very... I can't relate to it. And this is the thing. I get some women can relate to that. Like, some women had like legitimately awful fathers, basically, and awful coworkers and friends, but I didn't. And so I don't like being told that I should like that as a woman. I don't like being told that because she's a badass, character, she's good character. I'm like, no, stop pandering to me. I know when I'm being pandered to, I do not like it often. I do like propaganda, I'm not gonna lie. There's some propaganda that I'm like, this is quite good. But like, I feel like most fans of Captain Marvel don't get that that's what it is. They don't understand that it's incredibly pandering and patronizing, and it's basically like spoon feeding you what you think a strong female character, like, I'm just a girl. Like, give me a break. It plays over the end. Give me a break. Really? Like, this is what you consider like a good female character? But again, if you're into it, fine. If you want to, like, it's like a guilty pleasure thing, great. But if you think it's like a legitimately good movie, I question your judgment. It is pandering to you. It is pandering to what they think women feel like. And I'm like, I don't feel that way. Sorry. Am I like not a woman? Like, I thought I was. Oh. And there's so many. Again, I'm a woman, so I'm supposed to like Rey in Star Wars. I'm a woman, so I'm supposed to like these female characters or not like these male characters. I'm a woman, so I'm supposed to have these things. Give me your money, woman. Like, I'm making things that are feminist. No. Okay? That's my problem with feminist stories, is they treat women like idiots who are too stupid to notice what they're doing to us. Like, we get it. You want to write a feminist story and you think that you're like big and grown up for doing it, and you just forgot that like a bunch of other people have already written good female characters. I'm not going to give you an award or clap for you or give you my money just because you think you wrote a good female character who's feminist. It's not feminist because more often than not, it denigrates men. It erases actual like strong women or strong female characters. And it's pandering to women and treating them like fools who are too gullible not to know what's being done. That is my problem with feminist films. Yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope it was fairly coherent. I did try my best to be fairly on the ball and point by point. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Yeah. And again, I feel like if double standards, this is back to 4.5. So now we're back to 4.5, and now it's a legit like extra point. If I was a man and I said all this stuff, people would act like I was a super sexist, and it's awful. But am I allowed to have these opinions as a woman? Let's find out. Or will I still get hate? That's an interesting thing, because if I said this as a man, people would be like, oh, you're sexist, you just hate bitch, you're not woke. Well, I don't know, am I just not woke? Am I not a real woman? Like, you tell me. It's a very interesting time we live in. I feel like feminism has kind of gone in waves. I mean, it has. They're literally literal waves. But I feel like maybe we're not doing so hot, given what women are expected to like shovel in to our mouths in terms of media. Well, that's my rather dark thought for the day. Maybe someday I'll do a post about good female characters. We don't know. Who knows? See you next time. Follow my blog. Stay tuned for rants and raves, etc. Bye.